On date redacted, Donald Trump was indicted for the fourth time in 2023. This time, the charges stem from his alleged attempts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. The indictment, brought by a grand jury in location redacted, marks a pivotal moment in American history. Never before has a former president been charged with such a serious crime against democracy itself. This indictment comes after a lengthy investigation by name of special counsel redacted. The investigation meticulously examined Trump's actions in the aftermath of the 2020 election. This included his repeated claims of widespread voter fraud. It also included his pressure campaign on state officials to overturn the election results. The indictment paints a picture of a president desperate to cling to power. It alleges that Trump knew his claims of election fraud were false. Despite this, he continued to spread them, inciting his supporters and sowing distrust in the democratic process. The indictment alleges that Trump's actions culminated in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. This indictment is a significant development in the ongoing legal saga of Donald Trump. It remains to be seen how this will play out in the courts. However, the charges themselves represent a serious threat to Trump's freedom and legacy. They also serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of American democracy. The indictment charges Trump with multiple felonies. These charges include conspiracy to defraud the United States. They also include obstruction of an official proceeding. Additionally, Trump faces charges related to his alleged efforts to disenfranchise voters. The conspiracy charge is particularly serious. It alleges that Trump knowingly participated in a scheme to overturn the election. This scheme involved pressuring state officials, spreading false information, and ultimately culminating in the violence at the Capitol. The obstruction charge stems from Trump's actions on January 6th. On that day, he allegedly interfered with the certification of the Electoral College vote. The charges related to voter disenfranchisement are equally troubling. The indictment alleges that Trump and his allies engaged in a coordinated effort to pressure state officials. They wanted these officials to overturn the will of the voters. These actions, prosecutors argue, struck at the very heart of American democracy. The indictment is complex and detailed, laying out a comprehensive case against the former president. It alleges a calculated and deliberate attempt to subvert the democratic process. These charges, if proven in court, could result in significant prison time for Trump. More broadly, they raise profound questions about the future of American democracy. The indictment of Donald Trump has drawn comparisons to the Watergate scandal that brought down President Richard Nixon. Like Nixon, Trump stands accused of abusing his power and obstructing justice to remain in office. However, the charges against Trump are even more significant in some ways. They strike at the core of the American democratic process, the peaceful transfer of power. The Watergate scandal involved a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters. It also involved a subsequent cover-up by Nixon and his administration. While serious, these actions pale in comparison to the charges against Trump. His alleged attempts to overturn a free and fair election represent an unprecedented assault on American democracy. The indictment of Trump is a reminder that no one is above the law, not even a former president. It is also a stark reminder of the fragility of democratic institutions. The peaceful transfer of power is a cornerstone of any democracy. Trump's alleged actions threaten to undermine this fundamental principle. The charges against Trump are a defining moment in American history. They force the nation to confront difficult questions about accountability, the rule of law, and the future of democracy itself. Section 4. A nation divided reactions to the indictment. The indictment of Donald Trump has further divided an already polarized nation. Trump's supporters have denounced the indictment as politically motivated. They view it as a witch hunt designed to prevent him from running for president again. Many have echoed Trump's own claims of a deep state conspiracy against him. Trump's critics, on the other hand, have praised the indictment as a necessary step towards accountability. They argue that no one, not even a former president, should be above the law. Many see this as a long overdue reckoning for Trump's actions. They believe these actions have eroded democratic norms and stoked dangerous divisions within the country. The indictment has sparked protests and rallies on both sides of the political spectrum. Some Trump supporters have called for violence and unrest, raising concerns about further political violence. Law enforcement agencies remain on high alert, bracing for potential unrest in the wake of the indictment. The deep divisions exposed by the indictment highlight the challenges facing American democracy. Hyper-partisanship and the spread of misinformation have created a climate of distrust and animosity. This makes it exceedingly difficult to have reasoned dialogue about the rule of law and the future of American democracy.